So the process of kirtan is a major aspect of what's called Bhakti Yoga, a path of Bhakti Yoga, meaning devotion to the Supreme Soul. And there's two primary processes, and that is called Shravanam and Kirtanam. So it means hearing and chanting. So first you hear, and then you chant, right? You learn by hearing, and then you repeat. And so a lot of times people are not sure what, they're supposed to be experiencing when they practice meditation. It's kind of like we have an idea that I'm going to experience something. I definitely want to experience relief from pain or anxiety or stress or whatever. Most people take up meditation for that. It's like I want to be more peaceful, I want to be more focused, I want to be less disturbed by what goes on around me. But then, if we think of sitting somewhere quietly, then what we're left with is everything that we've ever put into our mind to replay, when we're sitting trying to be quiet. So Lord Chaitanya taught the process of hearing and chanting as being the prime benediction for humanity at large. And he said it because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon, and it is the life of all transcendental knowledge, and it gives us a taste of that nectar for which taste of that nectar, which we're always anxious. So we're always looking for some nectar, we're always looking for some flavor. In a yoga term, it's called rasa, a particular type of flavor. And so when we practice meditation, we're going to sit there and, maybe we're practicing with mantras. And sometimes people try to feel something, instead of just being able to, or maybe people don't realize, you can just sit and let the mantras wash over you, to bathe you, to touch you in your heart, and you can actually just rest in that sound. And because it's a spiritual sound, it actually touches you. No material sound ever actually touches us, the soul, because we're of a finer nature than material sounds. Material sounds can't penetrate the soul. They can contaminate our mind and our heart, but they can't actually touch us because we're a pure spirit soul underneath all the layers. And so when we sit and we chant, or you can walk and chant, or you can drive and chant, but when we're chanting these sacred mantras, the idea is to actually just focus on the sound. And gradually we will experience more happiness and more peace, more joy that's actually inherently there in the mantras. It's not something that we need to try and create some sort of experience, try and create some feeling, try and kind of conjure up something or imagine something. So sometimes someone will say to me, it's like I went really deep in my meditation, and and I saw colours and I saw this and that. That is nothing to do with the practice of hearing and chanting and the Bhakti Yoga method. So one way, maybe, I can try and explain it. When you're loving somebody, when you're really totally loving somebody, you're not trying to get something from that relationship. You're in a giving mood, right? It's not like, I'm just like fully in love with this person, and what are you going to give me, right? I'm loving you this much, I want this much back, right? That's not called a loving relationship, right? That's called business, yeah? So like, some of you have got kids, and you die for your kids, right? You love them, and you do so much for your kids, and all of us have obviously had parents, and presumably they did lots for us because we're all here in some sort of relatively healthy state. So, a parent just goes out of their way to take care of their kids. And they're not expecting something back. It's not like, the 2-year-old will, like, what are you going to give me? Like I'm loving you totally. I'm giving you everything. I want something back. Do you know what I mean? And so when we're talking about a spiritual relationship, so I'm not sure if that's a really good example, but when you're talking about a spiritual relationship with our supreme eternal friend, then when we're chanting the names of the Supreme Soul, when we're chanting the names of Krishna, we want to do it in a giving mood, not like, if I chant your names, you're going to make my life work out better. What are you going to do for me? Right? Are you going to give me, you're going to give me some bliss? Like I've just been chanting this for 6 years. Hello, what am I going to get? So then we sit and we do our meditation. It's like try and feel something. I want something. I want to experience something. Does this make sense to anybody? Yeah. And so the process of Bhakti Yoga is about giving and relaxing in the names of Krishna. And when you relax in the names of Krishna, then they can touch your heart. But when we're trying to get something from that, then we won't experience what's naturally there in the mantra, because we're trying to get something from it, right? Instead of just letting it be, letting the mantra bathe us. It's transcendental sound. It will work. It absolutely will work to give us that spiritual happiness, that spiritual taste. But it's a gradual process. The mantras gradually purify our heart and purify our mind. And that natural, unbelievably amazing relationship that each one of us have with the Supreme Soul, the Supreme Being, that gradually becomes uncovered. And so you begin to little bit by little bit experience a sweetness that's already there. Does that make sense? So when you're chanting, and so sometimes when we're chanting, we're more focused, we can keep our attention, and other times we're just a bit more scattered. But when we're a bit more scattered, we're just like, I'll bring my mind back. Otherwise, you'll finish your meditation practice and it's like, it didn't work. It's like, it will work if we do it. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, we need to take the mantra and meditate upon it. Meditate upon the sounds of the mantra. And you can do that silently. You can just be hearing the mantra and just saying it in your mind, or just resting in that sound. Or you can be saying it out loud. You can be singing it. You can be doing mantra meditation with beads, japa meditation. But the idea is to try and not be in a mood of trying to get something, but to understand and have enough faith that Lord Chaitanya, the great spiritual teachers, coming in the line of Lord Chaitanya and coming in the line of Krishna, that they want our ultimate good. They're our ultimate well-wishers. And so they're encouraging, they don't want us to be stuck in the material world, going through all our trials and tribulations. They want us to be able to rise above what's ever going on in our daily life, and to be able to have that deep, ultimate loving relationship within the core of our heart that carries us through everything, every trial, every little thing, big thing, everything that we're going to go through in this lifetime. The mantras are there to give us protection, to give us hope, to give us purpose, to give us love, to give us security. And all we have to do is bathe in them. Kind of like, you run a bath. I don't know how many people have baths anymore, but in the old days, you'll run a bath and then you just get in it, right? And you just rest in it. And for some reason they made baths that are like porcelain. They were really uncomfortable, Did you ever experience that? It's like, I just rest in a bath, and it's like, oh God, it's bloody hard. Do you know what I mean? But if you can think of it, you just get into it, and it's just like you can just rest, or a nice hot shower, right? And you stand in it, and it just washes over you. Not like you have to try and do anything. You don't have to try and create any feeling. Understand when you just rest in it, That's like that with the mantras. We can just rest in it. Don't try and conjure up something. Don't try, think colours and whatever, It doesn't have anything to do with our loving relationship with our eternal supreme friend, Sri Krishna. So when we meditate, we try to meditate on the sounds of the mantra and try not to meditate on other stuff at the same time. Right? We've got all day to do that. When you try and do your meditation practice each day, try and just focus on the mantras. Rest in them, bathe in them, and just let them work. Let them do their magic on us. Thank you.